It looks like I am streaming to YouTube, but I'm having trouble streaming to the rest. So give me a second as I'm starting early so I can work out all these bugs. Oh, hello, Ona Fier. So good to see you folks here live on Instagram. Um, I am just working out the bugs right now. Services usually start right at 9 a.m. Um, I'm going live ahead of time just so I can make sure everything is working. Good morning, Tony. So good to see you. I know you were worried about the internet working or not, so I'm glad to see it's working for you. Starting a little early just to make sure I got all the kinks worked out here. It does seem I am live everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It does look like all the software is working. If anybody is seeing any problems, please let me know on any of the streams. I am able to see the chats, I think. Um, I'm not seeing. There we go. All right, changed it to live chat on YouTube. Doesn't say I have anybody on YouTube. Facebook says I have 2 people watching, and Instagram says I have 1. There we go. So let me just make sure everything's working. I'm gonna check my camera. On Facebook, everything looks and sounds. Lots of shadow, but that's okay. Yeah, lots of shadow because of where the sun's coming in. Um, Not a lot I can do about that besides putting a giant shade up. Which, we do have a shade. It's just not facing the right direction to get the right shade. Um, that's going to come when I actually build an actual temple building. But for now, we'll just have to deal with that. I don't know if people can hear the generator in the background. It's pretty loud, and I'm hoping to get it shut off here in just a second. and hopefully I have enough power to make it through this live stream. Um, hopefully everything works. All right, before we get started, I need to make a comment. Okay, I left comments on all the live streams. If anybody has any topics they'd like to hear about, please comment below, and I'll try to address them this morning. Like 2 minutes before our live stream starts. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna get hot soon. The sun coming down. Alright, I'm gonna attempt to shut the generator down, switch to solar. Looks like nothing got interrupted. Get started here. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Dobutsu Kyoji, the Animal Liberation Temple. I did get started a little bit early this morning to make sure all the live streams were working correctly. So kind of forgive me for all the, walking around, checking the computer. Um, Kind of something I need to do since I had a lot of mistakes last time. And we're still just kind of working out of the bugs. We'll see how good the sanctuary tour goes this morning, as last week it was pretty choppy. We'll see how well it does this week. Um, One of the things you can always comment is how the live stream's doing, because I'll look through all the comments and try to fix some of the mistakes. Somebody said last week that it wasn't framed all that great, so I framed it a little bit better. So tell me what you folks think. I pulled it in a little bit closer to get the framing right. Um, the week before last, the sound wasn't working too good. I was running off the camera sound, and now I'm running off my actual microphone right in front of my face. So that should be working better. Again, if you have any trouble with the sound, let me know. I can make adjustments now because of how the software works. If it's too loud, or if I'm like, you call it like clipping or something, where I get so loud that it kind of sends a little static. If that's happening, let me know. It doesn't look like, I have a little bar that tells me what's happening, and it doesn't look like that's happening. So I think we should be okay. But if I'm not, let me know. I also left a comment in the comments there on all three platforms that says, if there's any topics you'd like to hear about today, please comment below. It looks like I have Neil and Martin and Tani and Jackie. So good to see you folks here live on Facebook. And it looks like I have Fiera Wanderer and Ona Fera joining live on Instagram. So glad to see you folks there. And it doesn't look like I have anybody live on YouTube, and that's okay, because hopefully these all save and folks can watch them later. And maybe I just don't have enough people subscribed to YouTube to kind of get it out there. So if you have a YouTube account, that'd be super great if you go and like our videos and subscribe. Even if you never use it and you don't like YouTube, that's fine. But a lot of folks have suggested that I do a YouTube, because not everybody has Facebook and Instagram, probably for very good reasons. Social media can be kind of toxic, and YouTube kind of just lets you select the videos you really want to watch and ignore the rest. So that's a little bit better. That's good. Tani says the framing and the sound is good, so that's perfect. Neil says good. Nice blue sky. Yeah, you can kind of see our mountains. I got that beautiful view in the back of the house. You can kind of see the sky and the mountains in the back, or the hills. Really, they're not really mountains, but nice, beautiful hills in the background. So I got my coffee this morning, which is super good. Let's start with the updates here. I was able to get in early this week to see a dermatologist. They prescribed me some, what do you call that? Like cream. Oh, there's a big truck going by. They kind of take care of the roads here. And Lucy doesn't like them always up here, so she's got to talk to them. Anyways, I went to the dermatologist. I got this steroid cream that they prescribed. That's really helping. I'm still pretty itchy, so it's not 100%, but it's a lot better. Last time I took oral steroids and antibiotics, and it cleared up and then came right back. So really optimistic that things are going to work out better for me this time. Um, so we'll just kind of see how things go with that. I've been really working hard at getting the bathroom kind of going. We did have a little bit extra funds the last few months to kind of be able to afford some of the bathroom things. Like I said, I really think the bathroom's going to be key to getting my health better, as well as maybe possibly getting some volunteers up here finally. If they know that there's a restroom to use, maybe we'll get some volunteers. But the compostable toilet we want to get is about $600 alone, and that's for like the cheaper version. Um, so we're still in need of funds to be able to afford something like that. Um, and we still need to get a sink and things like that. Right now I'm working first on the bathtub shower. Like I said, I think that's going to really help my skin out. So I'm kind of working on that right now. But I'd like to get a toilet and a sink. I think that's going to really help with getting the volunteers up here finally. I think people are afraid to like volunteer here all day if they, don't have a restroom to use. I've been getting by for 3 years without it, but I understand that that's a difficult thing for people to get through. So they may not want to always volunteer like that. Okay. I'm hoping that the daily life services from a few weeks ago are still accessible. A few members of our Buddhist group that focuses on animals now have the ALT prayer book, and some hope to try the other daily prayers when they can. Yes, the daily prayers should still be available on Facebook. Um, However, if people have a strong interest in seeing that again, then we can um, make sure that we redo those. I'm always happy to redo all the live stream or the daily services again and kind of help people get through that. So if that's something people really want, please reach out, contact me. If they can't find the previous videos that we had done for that, please reach out. So that's some of the updates here. We're still trying to get funding to kind of support those kind of things. Another more sad news is Ramo the rooster passed away yesterday. We did a service for him. If you remember, a few weeks ago, his brother Tina passed away. So both of the roosters were getting older. Um, so, it's a difficult thing to go through. They seem, Ramos seemed pretty healthy, and he had gotten really dirty, and I thought, I'm just gonna give him a bath yesterday. So I kind of got everything ready to give him a bath, and when I, went back out there to get him, he had passed away. So um, that was difficult to go through. Um, the other day, too, last week was that Ramo and Oscar both had a impacted crop, which means they weren't digesting the food that was in their crop, and so that's really a serious situation. But one of the remedies is you get them olive oil and kind of get some olive oil in their system, and that helps loosen up the crop and help them digest. And it worked great for both of them, actually. The very next day, both their crops were empty. They were interested in food again and got them some food. They were eating again, and everything was working out really well. But unfortunately, a few days later, yesterday actually, Ramo passed away. Oscar's still doing really well, but we had that services for Ramo and planted a new plant for him, and just very sad news for us. Neil commented to maybe do daily services every few weeks. That's a really good idea. And maybe I should make some posts saying, kind of advertising a little bit like, hey, we're getting ready to start doing our daily prayers again. If you want an update on that. Um, and kind of get those kind of started over again. I think daily prayers are really important to do. It's something that I do here, but I don't always put it on the live stream because it takes quite a bit of work to get all this kind of set up here. But if it's wanted, then I definitely will set it up for everybody. But updates on our animal friends, Breve, Grave, Amanda, and Renee. Our duck friends are doing really well. I see them right here, kind of picking through the straw. Renee's in the pond. Renee's always in the pond. I mentioned before, Renee doesn't walk all that great. Her toes since birth are pigeon toes, so she has a lot of trouble walking. But she has no trouble swimming, so she likes to spend a lot of the time in the pond where she feels like she's more mobile and more comfortable. So that's really good for her that she has that pond. Jingle the dog, getting old, very, falls down a lot still, kind of helping him through, you know, making sure he's as comfortable as can be. Lucy the dog, as you can see, is right here to my left. I don't know if you can see her, but she is right here to my left, kind of keeping an eye on the mulch folks, the people putting mulch down on the roads. They're at the top of the hill right now, and Lucy's keeping a close eye on them for me. Then we have our 3 goat friends down the hill, Rob, Matt, and Philip, doing super good. Integrating with a lot of the new goats that have kind of joined their herd. They're doing really well with them. We have our 3 tortoises, Miyaki and the other 2. They're doing super well. Our turkeys are doing really well. Priya and Harriet, again, great feather growth. Harriet's gone to jumping up for her food again. I don't like her jumping because, she's getting older and it can be hard on her joints. But it's good to see that she has all that energy again. Priya also doing really well. Kind of sometimes she comes running across the yard. It's good to see them. They are very old, getting up there in age, but they still have that youthful energy. And then of course we have our rooster friends. Ray, right here to my right. Probably off camera, but he's right here joining us for services this morning. Jax and Jimmy over there in their areas. And then, of course, Oscar is back in his area. He spent some time in the medical building because of the impacted crop, but he's doing a lot better, kind of hanging out there. Our guinea fowl friends, Stan, Kyle, and Wendy, are doing really good. Our rooster friends are all doing really. I see Elton running around out there. We got Sabrina May doing really well. Brad, Hard One, Mr. Black, Magnus, and Ed all doing really well. And then we got our hands, Glennis, Gwen, Alice, Melissa, Melinda, Sunny, Dora, and Daniela doing really well. The rats, Yamabushi and Hasu inside the house are doing really well. Sequoia, the new resident dove, is doing really well. And then we have the Cornwall Corner with Poppy, Aster, Ivy, Azalea, Peony, Cynthia, Lotus, Edward, Magnolia, Hazel, Sage, Marigold, Camilla, Hydrangea, Holly, and Zinnia. They're doing really well. Their feather growth is doing better. Even the girls that were really doing bad with their feather growth was not having the feathers grow in, which happens when some of the other hens are picking on them. They usually pick on them because they're smaller and not as confident. So I think those hens are starting to become a little bit more confident, and so their feathers are growing in. So that's really good to see. And then we have our pigeon friends: FP, Champagne, Appletini, Tulin, Sasha, Yo-Yo, Petey, Ricky, Spencer, Shambles, Beluga, Beth, Pee-wee, Cascade, Augustus, Frankie, Rufus, Harper, Elliot, Snickers, Boba, Kismet, Farah, Angus, Pandora, Jones, Sin, Harriet, and Lago. All the pigeons are doing super good this morning. Always happy to see our pigeon friends doing good. And that's Alice there. What's going on, Alice? Did you lay an egg and got to tell everybody about it? That's a I laid an egg sound out there. So those are the updates on all our dear resident friends. Just gonna check the comments. Thought I saw a new comment come in, but looks like we're also joined by Ty Julian and Inhaler Cosmic Kitty in Space on Instagram. I thought I saw a Facebook comment come in, but it doesn't seem like I'm seeing that anymore. Yeah, I thought I saw a new comment come in, but maybe not. Good girl, Lucy. So Lucy sometimes thinks that she's a rooster, and so she'll hear all the roosters crow and want to kind of like crow along with them, and her crow is that little howl there. Yeah, that's right. That's Ray kind of crowing there along with us. All right, so we'll start today's services. The mantras and prayers, as always, dedicated to our dear animal friends. It's of great benefit for them to hear them, especially if you folks have companion animals at home or are in a position to kind of let our wild animal friends hear. That can be the insects, the birds, wherever you might live, whatever wild animals are nearby. It's a great benefit for them to hear these prayers and mantras and sutras, as they are primarily dedicated to them. So we'll start with the recitation of the Heart Sutra found on page 4 of the Animal Liberation Temple Prayer Book. Maka hanya haramita shenyo kanji zai bosatsu gyojin hanya haramita jiso kengo onkai kodo isai kuyaku shari shishiki fukuku fui shiki shiki zoku ze kuku zoku ze shiki ju so gyo shiki yaku bunya ze shari shi ze shoku so fu sho fu metsu fu ku fu jo fu zo fu gen ze ku ku ju mu shiki mu jo so gyo shiki mu gen ni bi zet shen ni mo shiki shoko mi soku ho mu gen kai nai shi mu i shiki kai mu mu myo yaku mu mu myo jin nai shi mu ro shi yaku mu ro shi jin mu ku shu metsu do mu chi yaku mu toku i mu sho to ko bo dai sat dai hanya haramita ko shin mu kege mu kege ko mu ku fun ri se tendo mu so ko gyo ne han san ze sho butsu e hanya haramita Kotoku wa doku tara sanmyaku sanboda kochi hanya hara mita zedai shinju zedai myoshu ze mujo shu ze mutodo shu no jo isai koshin Jitsu Fukoko Zetsu Hanya Haramita Shuzoku Zetsu Shuwatsu Gyate Gyate Hara Gyate Hara So Gyate Bodhi Sawaka Hanya Shingyo Negu waku wa kono kudoko omote ama negu isai ni oyoboshi warera toshija tomina tomino buddha do jozen koto jiho sanshi foshi son wasa Foshi son bosa moko sa moko hoja horo mi. Good morning, Faith. So good to see you. Faith Ching, former sanctuary owner of Ching Sanctuary, I believe. I had to weigh one of our inspirations for starting our sanctuary with Faith. And Faith Ching has always been a great supporter of the Animal Liberation Temple and some of our work. So it's an honor to have you here, Faith Ching. We'll now recite the refuge prayer in Tibetan and then in English, page 8 of the Animal Liberation Temple prayer book. Sangye todan toki chanam la chanchu pajak tetni gyapsu chu taki jinso kipe sanam ki jola benjer sangye ju parsho. The Buddha, Dharma, and excellent assembly of the Sangha. Until I attain enlightenment in these, I take refuge. By my practice of the 6 perfections, may all sentient beings attain the state of Buddhahood. We now recite the 4 Great Bodhisattva Vows, page 9 of the Animal Liberation Temple prayer book. Shigi Seigan. Shujo muhen segando Bono mujien segandan Homon muryo segangak Otro mujo seganjo. However numerous sentient beings, I vow to enlighten them all. However inexhaustible my delusions, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the dharmas, I vow to master them all. However endless the enlightened way, I vow to follow it fully. And we now recite the 6 vows to our dear animal friends. However numerous my dear animal friends, I vow to liberate them all. However diverse the methods of animal liberation, I vow to support them all. However unheard their voices, I vow to speak out for them all. However painful and exhaustible the methods of suffering, I vow to bear witness to them all. However infinite the cages and tanks, I vow to empty them all. However difficult animal liberation, I vow to achieve it completely. And we now recite the 100-syllable Vajrasattva purification mantra, page 11 of the Animal Liberation Temple prayer book. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Nupalaya Vajrasattva Te Nopatista Tridome Bhava Sutosho Me Bhava Suposho Me Bhava Anurato Me Bhava Sarvasita Me Prayata Sava Karma Sita Me Chitim Sri Yam Guru Hom Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sava Tata Gata Vajrama Me Mucha Vajri Bhava Mahasamamya Sapaha. Moment as I just kind of check the comments. Oop. Oh, I don't know if you can hear, but Jingda is kind of making some noise. I'm gonna go check on him. You okay, Jingda? Just need a little bit of help getting up. Still don't have anybody on YouTube, but that's okay. Hopefully the live stream's working there. Instagram seems to be working. Got a few people there. Mostly here on Facebook, which is kind of what I thought, because we've kind of been having this for a long time. Good morning, Yolanda. No worries about being late. You know, you could always watch the rest of the live stream later on. I don't know how well. I'll go and check YouTube. Thank you, Jackie. Oh, that's Jingda again. So because Jingda, like I said, he's getting older, he falls down a lot, especially when he first wakes up, which he just woke up, and you know, he's got to get his muscles going again. So he might fall quite a few times, and I'm gonna have to like get up and help him out. That's just kind of what we have to do here. Yeah, I gotta help him again. Just one of the things we got to do. I subscribed on YouTube, but it says no upload, have to check again. Strange. You know, it's supposed to be live over there. And it does actually say I'm live. Excellent condition. Privacy is public. Current viewers 0. Current viewers 1 over here. So maybe it showed that you did check. Oh, all good on YouTube. Thank you, Jackie. Jingda, you know, gives me this awesome opportunity to practice patience. and that's okay. I don't mind interrupting the services to help him. Let's get over here. HMS Rhodes 106. Good to see you here live. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jackie, for checking on that for us. Super helpful. I asked for a topic earlier this morning. I haven't gotten anything in, but I did want to talk a little bit about the 6 vows to our dear animal friends. The 6 vows to our dear animal friends is something that I came up with and wrote, as an ordained Buddhist priest. I kind of felt like I had the ability to write these vows to our dear animal friends. One second. Sorry about that. So the 6 vows to our dear animal friends, kind of written in the spirit of the Bodhisattva vows, and as vows that are kind of universal, so that like even if you're a Buddhist or you're not a Buddhist, you can still take these vows. One second. This is just how it is in the morning. It's difficult for him. So the 6 vows to our dear animal friends. The first one reads, "However numerous my dear animal friends, I vow to liberate them all." And this kind of speaks to the, billions of animals that we share this planet with, that by far outnumber human animals. We are, as human animals, even though we cause the most destruction on this planet, and arguably have the most influence on our planet, we are the extreme minority. I think someone did the math once, and we're less than 1% of the life on this planet. However, we have like the biggest impact, and so given that we have such a large impact on our planet, we have a responsibility to our dear animal friend. And so it's mentioned, however numerous, we can't even comprehend the amount of our dear non-human animal friends are on this planet, and how many of them are exploited and subjected to humans, and are in need of liberation. Liberation from the exploitation, the capture, kidnapping, the hunted and things like that. That's what we're trying to liberate them from the further exploitation of human animals. And the second one reads, "However diverse the methods of animal liberation, I vow to support them all." And this was kind of written as I got more involved in animal rights, I started to realize that there are so many different methods that folks came up with to help our dear animal friends. And there are so many different ways that we can do this. And there's so many different organizations, and there's so many great people with different ideas. And sometimes those ideas and organizations conflict with each other. And I think that this is not always the most helpful thing that we could be doing. Is conflicting with each other. Um, but I think that at the end of it, we can all just kind of lend our support to all of them, even if they are conflicting ideas. For instance, I'll give you an example because I have this like my own opinions about animal liberation. And personally, I don't think that advocacy for veganism, specifically for individual change or consumer change, is the best way towards animal liberation. This is my own personal opinion, and that probably there's a lot of folks watching that completely disagree with that. But that's okay. Um, I want folks to disagree with that, and I want folks to continue that work of vegan advocacy. I want people to continue that work for individual or consumer change because I do recognize that it is a method of animal liberation that I don't necessarily agree with, but that doesn't mean I need to like stand in its way or um, stop that from happening. And in fact, I should probably go out of my way to support those methods. So and support those individual activists who are doing that kind of work. So I do. I do support those activists who are doing that work, even though I don't personally do it. Um, and I think that there's a better way. Doesn't mean that my way is right. And in fact, if any one of us knew the right way to achieve animal liberation, we would have already done it, because there's so many passionate folks out there. There's so many folks out there working so hard for animal liberation that if we knew the right way, we would have done it already. And obviously, we don't know the right way because our dear animal friends are still suffering. Um, so no matter how diverse the methods of animal liberation, I personally vow to support them all. And I think that's a vow we all can take. The third one says, however unheard their voices, I vow to speak out for them all. And this kind of speaks to uh, the idea that, our dear animal friends are screaming. They have this voice. They are talking to us. They are communicating with us. Um, they're just being unheard. We aren't listening all the time. So I put this vow in here that, you know, no matter how unheard their voices, no many folks decide to ignore the screams of our dear animal friends. We're going to put that voice out for them. We're going to speak out for them. I vow to speak out for them all. Um, and so that's, the third vow here to our dear animal friends. The fourth vow is, however painful and inexhaustible the method of suffering, I vow to bear witness to them all. And this is a very Buddhist, in my opinion, very specific Buddhist practice. Um, and it kind of goes back to the Four Noble Truths. And the first truth being that life is suffering. And it's something that the Buddha recognized that if the Buddha himself never recognized the suffering that was happening in this world, he probably wouldn't have taken the next step to relieve it. So that's something that, as animal liberationists, as animal rights activists, just as folks who care about our dear animal friends, that we need to often bear witness to that suffering and not turn away and not close our eyes to it. Recognize that they are suffering so that we can take that next step of taking action for them. So no matter how difficult, how painful, how inexhaustible those methods of suffering, I personally take that vow to bear witness to them all. Some folks talk about how it's very difficult to watch those videos of, slaughterhouse footage or seeing animals abused. And I agree, it's very hard to see those things. And I think that if you're not ready for that, to not watch those. But what I think is different is that sometimes people get that idea in their head that like, oh, I just can't watch those slaughterhouse videos, and then shut that part of their brain off, as if their suffering doesn't exist anymore. And sometimes we need that reminder that the suffering still does exist. The suffering is still out there, and that often we do need to bear witness to them. Um, for a long time, I was involved with the Save movement, and one of the words that kept they kept repeating to me was that bearing witness is the minimum that we can do for them, um, to recognize that suffering is happening, and it's the bear witness is the bare minimum that we owe them, is to bear witness to that suffering. So that's the fourth vow. Exactly, Neil. And yes, animals do have a voice. We mostly just do not listen, and that is absolutely true. Sometimes we just don't listen. That harks back to the hearing Jingda kind of struggle to get up to open my ears and make sure I hear that suffering that he's having, and go out and help him. Um, this is happening all over the world at any given time and any given moment. We need to open our ears, open our eyes, to that suffering, and do what we can do in that very moment. And sometimes there's nothing we can do, but at the very least we can bear witness to it. The next one reads, "However infinite the cages and tanks, I vow to empty them all." And this kind of just refers to the multitude of ways that animals are subjugated to humans, through cages, and tanks. Speaking of the our marine animals, who are locked in tanks for our enjoyment, and zoos and so forth, locked into tiny cages, laboratory animals, um, and the myriad of other examples of when animals are confined, um, for reason of exploitation. And so I think that there's a difference. I recognize that I live at a sanctuary, and that a lot of the our residents here are confined for their safety, and I think that's a little bit different. And this is only a temporary stop. This is only a temporary measure. I am working towards a world where no non-human animal has to be um, contained for their safety. I want a world where um, we're no longer um, we are no longer domesticating animals, so that they can all live wild and free. Uh, that is really true liberation, where they can be live wild and free. I always so happy to see my turkey friends, Pri and Harriet. They cannot survive in the wild, but they have their counterparts out here, the wild turkey, who are doing quite well, and who are thriving, um, and are able to live out in the wild and kind of be free. And I want that for the future Harriets and Prias. Unfortunately, we bred them for domestication. They don't have the ability to fly. You know, Turkeys can fly really, really well. Much better than what we think. They just kind of enjoy spending a lot of time on the ground. But if they need to, escape a predator, if they need to reach food, or to transverse a canyon like the one behind me, I've seen these wild turkeys fly from one side of the canyon to the other, because they're wild animals and have that ability. And unfortunately, their counterparts, Priya and Harriet, have bred for domestication and used for meat, and so they no longer have that ability. One moment as I check on Jingda. So eventually, I dream of a world where there are no animal sanctuaries. So the animal sanctuary is here because there's a need, because we still domesticate and dominate and um, subjugate non-human animals, and so they are in need of rescue and they are in need of long-term care, and so that's why the sanctuary exists. But I'm working towards a world where um, all the cages and tanks, even mine, even the sanctuary, will be empty, and that's the kind of world I'm working towards. And the last one reads, um, however difficult animal liberation, I vow to achieve it completely. And that's just kind of recognizing how there's so many of us working towards animal liberation. We still haven't achieved it. That, when we really sit down and think about it, it seems insurmountable. It seems like this most difficult thing to achieve. But no matter how difficult it gets, um, we'll still work continuously to, achieve it completely. And that's why I mention things like, um, I dream of complete animal liberation, where there's a world where even our own sanctuary is not needed. I'd love to be holding services every Sunday for our dear wild animal friends, um, and being able to talk about how we've liberated all the animals, and there's no need for a sanctuary where we have domesticated animals. And maybe my sanctuary will turn into wild animal care, where we just care for wild animals that may have been injured. um, but there's no need for domesticated animals anymore. I even dream of a world where Jingda and Lucy um, you know are not pets anymore, and that we don't need to have animal shelters. That we can all just live in equanimity, right? Um, our wild animals can be free, just like our human animals can be free. Check the comments, but yeah, that's kind of my talk on the 6,000 to our dear animal friends. Two activists and I stopped a truck full of young pigs outside of a local slaughterhouse. Hard to put into words how traumatizing it is, but I will never stop bearing witness. Thank you so much, Jackie, for bearing witness this way. I know that can be so difficult. I've done um, a lot of these type of vigils myself, so I do understand how difficult it is. The first time I did it, it changed my life. And I think that that's one of the key moments that led to becoming an activist and doing services like this, and speaking out for our dear animal friends, is because of a situation like that. Yolanda said, maybe there's a world like that on a different planet out there in the galaxy. And it's actually a really good point, Yolanda, um, because maybe there is a world out there where we're not, you know, subjugating and dominating and exploiting um, other life on this planet, and maybe there's another planet out there who's already doing this kind of work, who's not exploiting the rest of the life on their planet, which just leads to the idea that it is possible. And I think that's a really important thing to remember when we're talking about animal liberation, when we're talking about complete liberation, that it is possible. We can live a world free of exploitation, where all life on this planet is respected. All life on this planet is lives in equanimity. And when I say equanimity, when I speak of equal rights, I mean equal as in what each individual deserves, what each individual desires, to be free of, um, uh, the unnecessary suffering that we inflict on each other. And that's really important to remember, unnecessary suffering. I think as long as um, there is life, there is suffering. However, a lot of the suffering that we experience is completely unnecessary. Um, I'm not speaking of, predators and prey, true wild predators and prey, suffering there exists, and this makes me very sad, and that this happens. However, um, that might be a necessary suffering in a wild world. But there's so much unnecessary suffering that exists. And that's what I seek to end, is that unnecessary suffering for our dear animal friends, and the unnecessary suffering for even our human animal friends. Well, that is my talk for today. I hope that people are able to follow along. I'm sure people have comments about, you know, my view of veganism, and that's not to get, please don't get me wrong. Like, I am vegan myself. I do think that it is the proper human diet. I think all humans should be vegan. Um, I just have different opinion on the advocacy, the importance of advocacy, and it just means that I just put it on a different level of importance, um, such as like different than legislative work or direct rescue or direct action, or even um, disruption or disrupting the system of violence. I just put these kind of things on different levels. So I don't think that vegan advocacy is unnecessary. I just put it on a different level, and we're all going to have uh, different places where we put this, and I think it's great. I think we all should kind of be working on different things, as long as we're not conflicting with each other. And by conflicting, I just mean fighting and arguing and trying to stop each other and trying to stop vegan advocacy or trying to stop direct action. I think we need to open our minds for all of it. In a way, humankind lives in bondage because of the lifestyles such as animal exploitation and wars. Absolutely, Yolanda. I completely agree. And I think we need to break free of that bondage. Yeah, check the comments on the other. Um, Looks like we're doing good on all our other live streams. Um, so we'll continue. We'll conclude today's services with the recitation of the Animal Liberation Temple prayer, as well as the dedication of merit, and then we'll try to have a sanctuary tour. We'll make sure. We'll hope that my cameras are working correctly today. It didn't seem like I dropped any of the feed this morning, so that must be doing better. Some, we'll see what happens when we start moving the camera around, though. We'll recite the Animal Liberation Prayer, found on page 12 and 13 and 14 of the Animal Liberation Temple Prayer Book. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends who are subject to unbearable pain in labs throughout the world, be free of all suffering. May alternatives to animal experimentation, vivisection, dissection, and be implemented immediately. May bodhicitta, the quality of compassion that leads to enlightenment, fill the hearts of those who imprison them. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends who suffer endless days, months, and years, locked in tiny cages unable to move, be filled with peace and calm. May all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends who are forcibly taken from their families, be reunited, and may all families be able to stay together. May the hearts of those who work in slaughterhouses, factory farms, and all industries that exploit our dear animal friends be filled with bodhicitta, so the very thought of harm is purified. May they never kill again, and may the slaughterhouse lines, factory farms, and all industries that exploit our dear animal friends become immediately empty. May no animal be afraid or depressed. May their bodies be free of injuries, disease, and illness. May the mutilation of their bodies be forever ceased. May those who need homes or have been driven from them find shelter, plentiful food, and water. May there be liberation for those tortured for fur, entertainment, or who are hunted. May those who believe that they're superior to our brother and sister animals develop perfect equanimity, and may they realize in their hearts that all sentient beings possess Buddha nature, the potential to be completely free of suffering, and that they are not ours to kill or exploit. May the billions of land and sea dwelling sentient beings who are abused, exploited, and killed due to greed, hatred, and ignorance be free of suffering. May all the nets, hooks, blades, projectiles, traps, snares, cages, pens, tanks, lethal restraints, saddles, reins, prods, bait, poison, and all instruments used to harm, exploit, and dominate our dear animal friends be forever abolished. May all human and non-human sentient beings live together in harmony, peace, equanimity, and achieve perfect enlightenment quickly. May we all experience happiness, safety, freedom, and animal liberation in this very lifetime. And we now recite the dedication of merit to our dear animal friends. Throughout our many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue we have accomplished, including this aspiration for peace, and all that we will ever attain, this we offer for the benefit of all sentient beings, especially our dear animal friends. May suffering, exploitation, and unnecessary death be decreased for every being, while wisdom, bliss, and compassion increase in this and every future life. May we clearly and innocently perceive the plight of our dear animal friends with the urgency and seriousness they deserve, and our every action leads them to complete liberation. May we quickly attain enlightenment and work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. All right, we'll give this a shot. Let me switch the microphone. All right. I know it's a little shaky. Here is our Ray. There's Lucy. Sorry about the echo, folks. I don't know why the sound on this is coming through. That's Miyachi. The other two tortoises. I think this mic is really loud. And if that's too loud for folks out there, let me know and I could make an adjustment for the next services. The other thing is I can't see comments while I'm out here. Here's Oscar. Hi, Oscar. Can you let me come in? I know we're all hungry and we'll eat soon. People want to say hi to you, Oscar. I know. Cornwall Corner over here. Alright, everybody gotta let me in. Oh, the pigeons are all flying. All our Cornish girls. Everybody's so pretty. You can see this girl here has the most feather loss, but it's so much better than it was. I'm real happy to see your feather loss coming in. Definitely see some new growth happening. Her butt's fully covered, just to kind of her backside a little bit. What's going on, ladies? Are you upset because I don't have food? This girl's real friendly though. Hi. Hi. Here comes everybody. Hey, Edward. Let's see this. Everybody's kind of surrounding me here. All right. This is what I wanted to do, was kind of try out the Cornwall Corner. I really hope that this live stream didn't get interrupted. Folks can let me know in the comments if it did, you know, and I'll watch the video again and see how it's doing. But everybody's very hungry, so I want to get them fed. There's Lucy. So thank you everybody for joining us here live or throughout the week. Thank you for joining us at the Animal Liberation Temple, where we are at the service of the spiritual and physical liberation of our dear animal friends. If you are on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, please kind of like our pages, like the live stream, subscribe if you're on YouTube. I don't know what you can do on Facebook and Instagram, but anywhere you can help there would be greatly appreciated. I look forward to hearing from you folks. If you have the ability to volunteer here, please do so. If you have the ability to donate, that's really great. But really what I'm really hoping for is, you know, a lot of likes and some subscription, or likes and subscribe to our YouTube. That needs some help. There's Sabrina May. There's Alice. All right. Thank you, folks. Have a great week. I will hopefully hear and see from everybody. And put the camera down and then the live stream. 1 second. Not as seamless when I got to do this by myself. Why the volume comes out like that, I don't know. All right, I'm back over here. For some reason this doesn't make the volume come out. That is okay. So thank you everybody again. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for all the comments. Yolanda and Jackie. We have somebody new watching. Heishman Foot Health Clinic. Thank you so much for tuning in live. So happy to see new folks join. Everybody have a wonderful week. Thank you.